The personal connection. The personal connection.
The personal connection.
The Personal Connection Podcast, the show where we explore the importance of the personal connection and how this translates into business. Discussing the topic with leading professionals to help you unlock the reach your company can have. The Personal Connection Podcast, brought to you by Motiveye. One chance to interrupt, make it count. Imagery that instantly connects. Mindsets, and thinking about the potentials with mindsets and how that affects business is something that has got wrapped up within mental health and everything. But it's something that should be explored on its own, because mindsets is so powerful. It can really affect your business, affect what happens in your business, and affects the limits that you put upon yourself. And one of the biggest ways it affects is how you connect with people and how you show up with people. So let's dive into a chat today with Laura Amy, who's a business mindset expert, about how unlocking your mind can really transform your business. So today I've got something totally different. I've got Laura Amy on, who's a mindset coach, a business mindset coach, who works with coaches, with influencers, with business owners to help unlock the potential within themselves, but brings a whole understanding that brings together understanding the mind, understanding mindsets, and understanding business to unlock the potential. Of course, it's totally different to what I do because everything to do with me is about image. But I think what Laura will have to share is going to be incredibly valuable. So, Laura, welcome to the Personal Connection Podcast.
Hello.
And let's see where this chat could take us, because when we get chatting, it could go anywhere. So
it could.
What is it you do and why does it matter?
So for me, I think I learned at a very early age the impact of having a negative mindset. I suffered a lot with anxiety growing up, had quite a chaotic kind of like growing up as a child, kind of a chaotic life situation. So for me, kind of always interested me about how I escaped from that emotionally. And then I think as I got older, I had businesses from the age of 18. So the impact that then had on business, and you know, I think we've seen such a big boost in the self-development world the last couple of years, but actually it's only been very, very recently that people are talking about the impact it has on your business, the impact that your mind and the way you think and the patterns of behaviour and even trauma and past experiences, how they affect your ability to run a business, how they affect your ability to make money. So for me, everything is connected, and it's just about joining the dots and really getting people to understand how their brain works.
Okay.
Understand why they do things that they do, why they act the way they do, why they struggle with the things that they do.
Okay, so it is that whole thing of realising that how you feel affects everything. And it's not it's not how you are personally, but it affects your day-to-day business, how you are, the energy you've got around you when you walk into a room, that even if people don't realise it, everyone picks up on it because we've all evolved for the same way for the same reasons. And it's understanding the stumbling blocks and the hurdles that you're almost putting in your own way by not unlocking the potential you've got within you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing to me, that people hold themselves back because of anxiety, or like you say, people pick up on the energy that they've got, or they don't act the way they actually want to act, or they don't speak their truth. They don't do the things that they want to do because, lack of confidence, or because of because of situations or things that they think and feel. So for me, it's about unplugging that so they can do the things they want to do. They can connect with people on a different level, whether that's an understanding that they've got of other people, or whether it's making people have an understanding about them. You can apply it to anything. You can apply it to family, sales. Like it doesn't matter what you're applying it to. It's the same process. The way we are programmed is what we put out into the world. It's what influences people. It's what makes people act the way they do towards us. And that's always been a big thing for me, that getting people to believe that life happens from you and not to you is quite a big shift, because when you realise that the way people respond to you in all areas of your life is a result of the energy you're emitting, the frequency that you're working on, the thoughts you're thinking, the way you're presenting yourself, you start to realize that you've got a lot more control about your actions and the results that you're going to get than you think.
That's incredibly powerful to think about. And I've got to admit, I was a bit of a Luddite with all this, because until I went through a whole coaching series with a mindset coach, for me, I didn't know what it was about. And it meant nothing to me. And I was thinking, you know, you hear all these buzzwords, energy and the aura around you and all that. But after going through it myself and going through a mindset coaching course, it unlocked something in me that I didn't even know was there. And it is realizing that however you walk into a situation, whatever you carry into it directly affects it straight away. And it's, the same with business, but with personal life and everything as well. You've got to love yourself. That's sort of the point, isn't it? And you've got to unlock those little things and embrace the craziness and everything else that makes you you. Because if you connect with people in an authentic way and connect with them in a genuine way, you get a better reaction anyway, don't you? And it's allowing yourself to be you, I guess, is part of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think we've been so socially conditioned to play certain roles, especially women that I speak to. You know, they've been conditioned to just be a mom or to just be a wife or to just be a business owner if it's the opposite side of the scale. And I think we forget that we're multidimensional. We can have a multitude of relationships and different parts of our lives. And for me, it really is about that. You know, when you think that, I will say 100% of what we do is mindset driven. Scientifically speaking, 85 to 90% of what we do is governed by our subconscious. So when you think that, 90% of the time we're operating on autopilot, when do we actually stop to think of how we behave to other people, how we interact with other people, how our thoughts, habits, patterns, our beliefs, our values, the things that we've been completely conditioned that actually aren't our truth, aren't the things that we were born with, or that we develop the things that were influenced to us. When we don't ever stop to think about how that affects us, but then we don't ever stop to think the knock-on effect that has towards other people. And obviously, other people are what govern our business, other people are what govern our relationships. So for me, it's that kind of realization that you can change the way you think, you can shift the way you think, you can change the way you behave, and then in turn, you're going to change the response you get. And just by virtue of that, you're going to change the people that you do connect with. When your mindset's working at the best possible or a better possible level, or you're operating from a higher version of yourself, a next level version of yourself, you are going to attract the people to you that you need to attract at that time. You're going to connect with the people who are going to support that version of you rather than the prehistoric version of you.
Yeah, and I think it's understanding that we can change is so vitally important, that you're not set with what life's given you or where life's taken you.
We can move.
I love that. Yeah, move the goalposts, or just change your surroundings. But it's life, it's business, everything's connected because it's all around you and it's all connected to you, whether you like it or not. So you've got to take control of it, really. Of course, there's been the whole thing, which is great to see in the media in the last 18 months, 2 years, where there's so much more talk about the mind and mental well-being and mental health, and that is so important. It's not talked about anywhere near enough, I don't think, and it's not got the importance on it that it needs. But at least the conversation's been started, which has got to be a good thing as an overall, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're getting there. I think if you look at the UK, for example, compared to other cultures, we're quite far behind. If you look at places like Thailand, Bali, if you look at those cultures, they've always had the mindset as the first thing. We've never had that. I think then you look at places like America and Canada, who really put it into a mainstream thing, a mainstream access and accessible for people. I think it's creeping in the UK. It's still not. The good thing is we're coming at it, like you said, from a mental health point of view. The only problem that then addresses for me is that you kind of then get this group of people who think that if they don't have a mental health problem or they don't suffer with what's known as a mental health problem, they don't need the mindset support. And actually, sometimes it's not about recovering from massive trauma. You know, I work with a lot of women who are in that situation, but sometimes actually it's just about elevating you to the next level of yourself, you know, especially in business. And you think about how much we focus on strategy and numbers and figures. And when you look at business, like, business is quite simple. You know, so
essentially you provide something and sell it,
Yeah, you provide something and you sell it. Yes, there are things you have to learn along the way. But if you look at it from that point of view, why do we have one person that does one thing that earns so much money, and then we have another person that does the same thing that doesn't earn so much money, when the businesses are the same and the results should theoretically be the same? Well, that's got to be something that's happening internally. So I think whilst it's amazing and we need to have this focus on professionals and certified practitioners really supporting with the mental health aspect, and mindfulness certainly plays a part, a massive part of that, 95% of that. There's actually a lot more people that you would not think have a mindset issue that do. And actually quite often it's the more successful people or the people that are on that path that have the mindset issues rather than the mental health issues.
Yeah, totally. And I think I'm so glad you went down that route, because it's understanding that it's not an issue at all. It's, having a mindset block. It's not an issue. It's something that, hell, embrace it, turn it around and make it work for you instead. But so that's why I personally use the word issue instead of problem. Because I don't think that I think we have enough stigma around mental health. The reason I got into coaching, the reason I got into mindset coaching was because I worked with a mindset coach because of my own mental health struggles. So I've been on two sides of the scale, and I think, to be honest, in my own experience, I think everybody suffers with some form of mental health in their life. I think it's a lot more common than even we think it is now, and I think it affects, in terms of connection, it affects the relationships you have, it affects all of that. But sometimes it's just the smallest shifts. And I think sometimes you can sit on one side of the coin, because sometimes you absolutely, people need that mental health support. But sometimes the people that don't quite need that support, they just need to make a few very simple shifts in the way they think. I think sometimes they're also the people that are forgotten about, or they don't think they need the support. And quite often, like I said, the simplest thing is what turns things around for people. Yeah, massively. And it's just embracing it and using it as a positive. And people go in and they have business strategy coaches, and they work with all these people on that side of things. But it's as important, if not more important, I would say, to actually sort out the mindset side of things, because otherwise you will always hold yourself back. We were talking about it the other day, and if you've got that sort of block and that barrier, it doesn't matter what strategy you put in place, you'll never get anywhere. And
I feel like I could scream this from the rooftop. If I could give one message to anyone listening, or if I could repeat one message day after day, it is this. Because there are just thousands and thousands of thousands, the statistics, especially, I hate the word small business, but I'll use it in this example. The statistics around small businesses failing, and they put it down to business strategy, and I'm like, it's not business strategy. If those people invested in mindset support and overcoming the things that are actually causing the problem, half of those businesses wouldn't fail. And I truly believe that. Truly believe that.
Totally, mate, totally. And I think it is that point that we invest in our businesses in so many different ways, but it should be something that is put in right from the very start, get things sorted, get the foundation right. If you've got solid foundation, you can build on it. If you've got a weakness there, then it will always hold you back. It's as simple as that, really. And so, put it in place from the start, get it sorted, and go from there.
And I think this perception as well, that once one issue is fixed, that issue is never going to come up again. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we can remove blocks, we can heal trauma, we can go in and we can work around the energy of what's causing that problem. But what I try and say to people is, every level you move up to is going to have almost a shadow version of what's happened in the levels before. It's just going to be on a different scale. If you've got an issue if you've got an issue now, let's talk about connecting with people. If you've got an issue now with speaking in public and putting your business across, connecting with people so that people buy your product or service, you are going to have that issue whether you sell a product for £50 or whether you sell it for £50,000. It's just the version of it at £50,000 is going to be very different, but it's still the same programming, it's still the same pattern. So there's this belief, and you know, I say it so much. It's one of the most frequent things I say on social media is that mindset work isn't about reading the books and chanting affirmations. It's the nitty gritty, like crying on your kitchen floor, like transformative, like mic drop moments that you have, but you have those all the time. You have those just in various degrees, and you have them at every level. So the work never stops. If you want to keep evolving and you want to keep growing and you want to keep changing and moving into new levels of yourself, the work has to be an everyday part of life. It has to form part of your routine, part of your structure, so that, you know, you don't just go to the gym once and work out, do you? Like you have to go consistently.
What an analogy there, because it's, yeah, as you say, some people might think that, boom, it's one quick thing, one quick fix, done. But I think the other thing that's quite powerful to realise is that once you've gone through full coaching, you know, or you've gone through a series of coaching and you've unlocked those issues and those problems, when they do come back up, you've actually got the skills to
you've got the tools.
Solve them. And you've got that toolkit there that you can lean on and use to get you through the next phase or the next issue that you're facing.
Or you've got someone in your corner that's going to support you through that.
Massively, mate, massively. And yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it? Wow, how much content are we getting from Laura today? We'll be right back to the interview in a second, but I wanted to jump up and tell you a little bit about my company, Emotive Eye. Emotive Eye is all about connecting you to your perfect customers through emotion-invoking photos and video that really capture the right message, that connect you to your perfect client and put you forward. That's what it's about. You've got one chance to interrupt. Lives are so crazy busy, and if you want to stand out in your marketplace, want to stand out to the right customers, you've got to take the right steps to get there. I work closely with individuals and small businesses to help them create the branding images that really define them, their message, and their values. All authentic, all real, all full of life, and a hell of a lot of fun too. Head over to www.emotiveeye.co.uk to find out more and get in touch if you like what you see. I'd love to talk to you about the different opportunities we've got of working together to help connect you to your perfect client. Let's get back to Laura. Because so much business comes from the personal relationships and personal connections, whether it's networking, whether it's referrals, whether it's leading training or leading workshops. Standing there as an expert is the best way to get business. But if you've got a personal block on yourself, then you can't get through it and you can't connect through it. And don't get me wrong, going to like elocution classes or, you know, networking classes or speaking classes, that's great and that's all part of it. But you've got to believe in yourself. It's still not going to make you stand up and speak. Yeah, no. It's still not going to, like, you can have the best voice, the best articulation. Like, if you don't want to say the stuff that you are saying, or you don't believe in yourself to say it, or you don't believe in your product or service because there's a block around it. I see this a lot with pricing when people are trying to connect with people and get people to understand why they're priced the way they are. If you don't, it doesn't matter what the practical strategy is or the practical thing is. If you've got that block or belief around it, you're never going to. And the thing is, it's not just about, like you gave the example of networking or being the expert in the room and standing up. Even if you can get past that point, you are going to sabotage your success because your brain will never do
what it's not programmed to do. Your brain is programmed to keep you safe. So if it sees you coming out of your comfort zone, it sees in black and white. It doesn't see that coming out of your comfort zone is a good thing unless it's trained to. It sees it as a bad thing, so it will always pull you back.
That damn brain getting in the way again. I mean, it's just a nightmare, isn't it? Absolute nightmare.
But it can be reprogrammed. This is what people forget. I had a conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago, in the pub actually. So just a very generic conversation, and it was about, well, I'll never be confident speaking to people, and that's just the way I am. I'm not good in situations where there are people. I'm not good at connecting with people, is essentially what they were saying, but they needed to be for their business. Okay. And I was like, no, you are. You've just not trained that part of your brain yet. You've not trained it. You've not done the work to evolve into that version of yourself. So yeah, going back to the whole gym analogy, you're not going to lift stupid amounts of weights on the first run, or you're not going to go and run a marathon the first time you go out and you put your trainers on. Exactly. You've got to put the miles in, put the training in, put the effort in to transform yourself. And we're so quick to do that with business. We're so quick to do that with strategy. We're so quick to do it with our physical body, but we don't do it with our brain. We don't do it with our relationship with ourselves, and we don't do it with our relationship with others. And a really, really good way I can put this, especially with the relationship building, is I see so many people who will come to me, and it doesn't matter whether it's a relationship with a business partner, a romantic partner, a friend, it doesn't matter what it is. And I will say to them, what do you think a balanced relationship should be? And 9 times out of 10, that person will say to me 50-50. And I'm like, no, that's so wrong. Yeah. It's 100-100. You have to show up 100% to any relationship that you're cultivating if you want to get 100% back. So if you want to show up 100%, you've got to figure out what's stopping you from showing up 100%. Is it confidence? Is it self-belief? Is it self-worth? Is it fear? Like you've got to figure out what's stopping you showing up 100%, because that's, if we operate from the thought process that life happens from us, our results happen from us, by virtue of that thinking, if you show up 100%, the person that's receiving that energy is going to show up as 100%. I'm a convert. You know that. I totally believe in it because I've seen it. But as I say, I came in from, I was a complete skeptic. Before I worked with Ali, I was like, no interest whatsoever, but went in it because it was helping her build her business, basically. But the transformation I felt in myself from the end of it was amazing. And when you go through issues, then I was drawing on that toolkit to get through them. And don't get me wrong, I could probably do with some help again because new issues turn up, new things arise. But it's embracing that and realizing that rather than putting a stigma on it or anything else. So when clients are working with you or thinking about working with you, obviously they can jump online and find out what you do. But what is it you do with a client? What is your signature program that you dive in and help people with? So I run now, so I do very limited one-to-one sessions, so very, very limited one-on-one coaching where I will work with somebody every week, and that is on a one-on-one basis, so in person, phone, Skype, Zoom. That if somebody normally is experiencing a very, very big transition in their life, so we're talking massive changes in business, massive changes in the life structure that they've got, or they've plateaued. Their business has plateaued, their finances are plateaued, or they've come up against something, for example, past trauma, that just will not let them transition through to the next part of their life. My signature program, though, is a longer program in terms of people can work through it at their own speed, which it's like an immediate download online program, which is called Business Mindset Mastery. So that just takes you through the 7 modules. There's 5 core modules, and then there's 2 bonus modules where I add kind of like health and wellness, law of attraction, and that kind of more spiritual, energetic side of it. But essentially, it takes you through the mindset of a business. So, for example, there's a module on connecting to and selling to your high-end clients, and how to make that happen. But it's mindset. it's all mindset. It's all the shifts internally you have to have in order for those things to happen. Because what I really wanted to prove with this program, and you know, I've taken people through it. This program's been available now for 3 months, and there are multiple people that have gone through it. What I wanted to prove with this program is that if you work on your mindset first, your business will change by virtue of that. And it's been proven. I've seen this proved over 6 years of working with people in every industry possible. So for me, this really gives people that key to unlocking, you know, their money blocks, their blocks around self-worth and self-belief, their patterns of behaviour, their programs, selling, marketing, but it all comes from a mindset point of view, so there's no strategy in it.
Absolutely love it, because then there's nothing wrong at all with working with a business strategist for the other side of things.
No, absolutely
not. In fact, they're amazing at what they do.
Yeah,
I'm working
brilliant.
with one now.
Brilliant.
But get the head in the right place first.
Yeah.
Because then
and
you're
the
not blocking
ironic
yourself.
part of it is business coaches and business strategists often balance out. It's that kind of yin and yang. I work with a lot of business coaches because a lot of business coaches send me their clients because they don't do the mindset aspect. Equally, if I have a client that comes across a business strategy issue that is far beyond what I'm capable of dealing with. You know, I know my own capabilities as a coach, I know my limitations of a coach, and I know we're ever growing and evolving, but equally I can pass those people on. So absolutely, business coaches are invaluable, but we focus so much on them. You know, how many times do you see people say that the key to getting their first sales or the key to connecting with their ideal people, and they go and do it through branding or a website? You don't need branding or a website. Those things are amazing, and they're tools, but they're tools. They're not what's going to get you picking up the phone. They're not what's going to get you putting yourself out there at networking events. You know, that's all in here. Like, that's all in your head.
Yeah, totally. I mean, of course, my business is based around people investing in their image and, investing in their photography and videography. But when they're going out to meetings or anything, if they're not believing in themselves and what they do, it doesn't matter. So they're never going to be able to sell what they do. And so, when I get clients coming to me and they're not ready for personal branding or whatever else, I'll tell them that, because it's understanding. And
that's one of the things I absolutely love about your approach. You know, we've had this conversation before, and I absolutely love that about your approach, that you recognise that in people. Because I've had branding photos done before, we've talked about this before, but actually the energy behind them, I didn't like them.
Yeah, totally.
So have they ever been used? And that wasn't, the photographer was brilliant.
Yeah.
The photographer was brilliant, and those things are, those things are imperative to building a business. You know, it's like funnels, lead pages, all of the opt-ins. Yeah. These things are fundamental business strategies. But if you're not going to use them, or if you're not going to, because there's that, and that's the point, and that's where what I say when I say it's all connected. It's not one without the other.
Yeah,
you can't have a business without strategy, but you also can't have a business without mindset. And
it's understanding how it all comes together and how they all play their own part in keeping that roadmap straight and true, and not hitting obstacles along the way. And just as your reviews say, it's fab, no BS coaching that is achieving great results. That's all you need. It's no BS, straight down the line. Call it what it is. Call a spade a spade.
That's why people love working with me, because I say things that a lot of so I take a very different approach. A lot of mindset coaches work purely on mindset, and they work with a generic sense of mindset, which is brilliant. It's what I used to do. For me, I kind of bridge that gap between a traditional mindset coach and a business coach, where I kind of sit in the middle, and I do call people out. And that's why I've been so fortunate to be able to get the following I have, to get the clients that I have, to run the courses that I have, to do the speaking engagements that I have, because I do kind of just call a spade a spade. And I'm the most supportive person, but I will also kick you up the arse if you don't do what you're told.
But mate,
if you don't.
What's the point in doing the work if you're not going to be pushed and challenged on it? That's the point, isn't it?
Exactly.
Really,
that's how we grow and evolve. And I've got a coach that pushes me and that challenges me, and I think we get too hung up, we get too precious over our ego. We need to come out of our ego and learn from other people and connect with other people and have deep meaningful conversations with other people. Like, there's just too much surface based rubbish going around. Like, that's not what we were designed to do.
No, it's all about building that real connection, that real relationship.
And that's intrinsically what we're designed to do as humans. We have an innate need to be loved.
Yeah, totally, mate. Totally.
Being loved comes from, whether that's in your business, in your personal life, like that's innate, that's in all of us. That's the one thing that we're born with, is this deep desire to be loved. So then as we get older, as we go through this process of evolving, as we go through what society has conditioned us to think, we fall out of that and everything becomes very surface based. And for me, it's about reconnecting people to that part of themselves. And for me, from a business point of view, then making them understand that deep connection to yourself is what's going to help transition your business into new levels.
Bang on, mate. Absolutely bang on. So, I mean, we could carry on talking for hours about this, but
we could.
It's all about the whole understanding what different people need at different stages, isn't it? And so that's why I think it'd be, if anyone is really wanting to get involved with this and really look at it, they've got to go and check you out online. There's no doubt about it. And so where are they best to go?
Find me on Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook, I'm Laura Amy Coaching, but my profile's also public and people follow me on my actual profile as well. Instagram, I'm the Business Mindset Coach, so / the Business Mindset Coach. Yeah, those are my main two platforms, and then my website's lauraamy.com.
Brilliant. So
I am very, very available online. People can find me.
Love it, mate. And there is one thing for certain: anyone following you is going to get the amusement factor as well as the guidance and everything as well. Because you're just out there, aren't you? There's no doubt about it.
There is just no holes barred with me. I think I started my journey back on social media in my mid-20s, and I started by just being really truthful and really honest, and I balance that out with insane content. I give away so much value, so much free content every single day, but I do it in my own way, and I do it in a fun, energetic way. Yeah, there's definitely no holes barred on my social media.
No, there's no filter when it comes to you at all. But that's why I love you, mate.
Yeah, I have no filter whatsoever.
Awesome.
I don't even know what a filter is.
Well, we've done well to get through on this interview then. So I think we'll leave it there just in case we go off on a crazy tangent now. But Laura, thank you so much for what you've shared on this.
Thank you for having me.
And explaining the importance of mindsets and within the business environment, not just coaching on its own separate thing. It's understanding how it relates to everything and how it allows companies and individuals to connect on a more personal and a deeper level. So Laura, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, what a chat that was. Laura, you're an absolute gem, and I love how you live and breathe everything that you say and how it means so much to you as well. As I said in the chat, I'm a personal convert of the importance of unlocking the mind and focusing on mindset. It really does make a massive difference to business, and I thoroughly recommend anyone who's interested, go and check out Laura online, follow what she does, and see how she may be able to help you make a deeper personal connection within your business. You never know what extra ways it could take your business and how it